Andrew, welcome in. Thank you for joining. Tell folks who don't know where you are, who you're wearing, and what's on your mind.
Huh. I have no idea who I'm wearing. I'm from Ohio. I actually had a follow up on what you guys are kind of talking about here in terms of structural problems for the Democrats, we'll call it. Um, Obviously, there's a lot of U.S. aid conversations going around with Doge, and there's a lot of pieces to what that kind of means downstream. I haven't read everything that's been cut. Oops, sorry. But it does definitely seems to align with kind of the left side of the political aisle. And I'm curious if that has any kind of downstream effect on what kind of dollars, fundraising, et cetera, looks like for Democrats as some of the dollars from the federal government and the taxpayer stop running to causes that are related or pet causes toward them. At least that seems to be the overwhelming majority of what is getting cut right now at Doge.
Don or Dan, go
Respectfully,
ahead. Go ahead, Dan.
yeah, this is where the misinformation is just overwhelming the system. It is not money that is funneling to kind of backdoor Democratic political machines. Democrats will not. It's just
Oh
not.
no, I can appreciate that.
I'm sorry, and I don't know if you can see. One of my colleagues is laughing, shaking his head at me. I look, Democrats, I do not think will lack for money to be competitive. What we lack, to Mark's point and Sean's, is messengers, people, and a message that connects with the electorate and the problems that are existing today. We lack those things. I do think that candidates will emerge knowing their communities and what is most important on the Upper West Side of Manhattan and meet that moment. You got to get in front of the majority on issues. The challenge is going to be Trump is so attuned to what is happening in the country. He is so culturally sensitive that it's going to be hard to get around him to own an issue where he wasn't paying attention. And that's often how you do it, right? Immigration would be a great example.
Yeah.
He seized it and everyone belittled it.
Hold on, just real quick news update. The House leadership says, Republican leadership says that a markup vote will be unanimous on the Republican side, and it will be brought to the floor the last week of February.
Okay.
If true, that's kind of a big deal, of course.
That is.
Sean.
Yeah, I will say that there's a big difference between political fundraising and what we're talking about. I think candidates drive that, message drives that, apparatus drives that, infrastructure drives that. So like Act Blue and a lot of the stuff that the Dems have, as long as you keep that low dollar base jazzed, you're good. I will say this on the spending front, what the Trump administration has done brilliantly, I think, is throw out enough examples of waste and left-wing waste, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not just like, hey, there's a program that doesn't, that turns lights on that is automated now, and this is outdated and ridiculous. It's like saying $70,000 for a trans comic book in Ireland doesn't exactly bode well with anybody. So it may not be the most consequential dollar figure, but I think it reminds people of how far detached some of these elites have gotten from the average taxpayer that's working hard, sending money to the government and saying, why am I working hard and no one actually respects what I do or how hard I work or the struggles that I'm facing? And that keeps this issue. And when you're going out and standing in front of a building, which is where I think the Democrats are missing this. If they stand outside of a building and say, we're going to protect you, for a lot of people, that comes across as defending the status quo. And you're saying to yourself, really, like, you guys are saying that this is okay and we're going to protect you. This is why, like, I can't honestly believe that, like, at some point soon, somebody's going to have to step up on their side and say, we look ridiculous. We got to do better. But defending this is not smart politically. And then, I mean, tangentially, I think that has a hard time getting people's sympathies, except for maybe the far, far left when it comes to fundraising.
Well, and
Andrew, thank you.
I want to just add this. If you think the federal government, this wasteful spending, is simply on what I'll call Democratic priorities, I'll sell you the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah.
I don't know why our party has not shoved the Republican priorities to the front and center to humiliate them. There are so many programs. By the way, the entire first term of Donald Trump, none of this was cut. All of this stuff this stuff was not just popped on the tax pay. Some of it was under Biden, but a lot of this stuff I cannot.
Well, to be fair, Dan, hundreds of billions under Biden. Not excusing Trump's profligate spending. He's the big.
Well,
he's
but
as big a
just
fraud
again-
as any president on
totally.
deficit. But there was a lot of it.
Absolutely. But tax breaks that are very unique and one-off for businesses that the average person, if they heard, would be horrified. I don't know why we don't play this game.